Plaintiff Harry Weinstein met the defendant on a dating app, but there was never much of a connection, so they remained friends. Harry's suing because he claims he loaned the defendant money and he has yet to be repaid. Defendant Hanga Kankana says after he moved to America, he met Harry and he thought they were friends. However, once they moved in together, Hanga claims Harry yelled at him whenever he got mad. Hanga insists Harry is suing for more than he owes.
Start with you.
We met on one of those dating apps a while ago, and so nothing really ever came of it, and we sort of like drifted apart. But we reconnected a couple years back, and he became a very good friend of mine. But unfortunately, I guess he's not as good of a friend that I thought he was. He seems very, very charming, very, very, like a good old mama's boy, but he.
So were you all ever romantically linked? I say you sounds like you tried and you stopped, or what happened?
Well, nothing really ever came of it. It just there wasn't really a connection. Sort of like we sort of just.
You were never intimate?
Well, it depends on what you mean by intimate.
What?
It depends on what you mean by intimate.
There you go, Bill Clinton. Go ahead. What do you mean by intimate?
Well,
depends on your definition of sex.
I think
for those who don't know, that's what President Clinton said during his impeachment hearings or during the investigation. Did you have sex with that woman? Oh no, the classic response was, I did not have sex with that woman. Well, what's the definition of sex? So you've been watching too much Clinton.
Yes, I think my answer would be the same as his. I did not have sex with this woman.
Stop! That's not nice. You give me some background, sir.
I moved.
You know you gotta get it back.
It just there wasn't really a connection. Sort of like we sort of just.
You were never intimate?
Well, it depends on what you mean by intimate.
What?
Depends on what you mean by intimate.
There you go, Bill Clinton. Go ahead.
Plaintiff Harry Weinstein met the defendant on a dating app, but he claims they were never more than friends because there was no romantic connection.
Go ahead.
I moved here to the state from Indonesia for my master's degree in political science back then, 2015. And I have no one knows here. I have no friends, so I make friends by the social media, which is the one that he just mentioned. And I met him there, and we make a good friend. And he's such a good person. So, and then by October, I believe a year or 2 years after October, I moved to his apartment. Living together, and
October of what?
2016.
All right, how'd that go? Rooming together.
In one apartment, but not in the same room.
Okay, well, I'm saying, how did it go? Was he a decent roommate? Bad roommate?
I would say he's such a temperamental guy. He's sometimes angry with just a little things, simple things, like, for example, a bathroom hygiene. And when he mad at me, he would like yell and throwing some not nice word to me.
Okay, sir?
You
say you're very temperamental? You say you moody? What else you say about it? You didn't get along half the time. You tell me about living together.
Well, living together wasn't too bad. We did get along, I would say, fairly well overall. I can be a little opinionated and a little I can complain a lot, and I can be a little vocal when I do so, but what can I say? I'm stubborn. When I feel that I'm right, and I don't do the dishes. I'm sorry. And you
don't.
Well, I'm lazy.
Give him a hand. That's one of the few people that has admitted. You're one of the few people admitted to keep a nasty house.
Well,
go ahead.
You have no idea. If you think I'm bad, my mother was worse. My mother.
Don't talk about your mama, man.
Well, She actually came to live with me in my apartment for a little while. My grandmother died last February, and I had busted her up for the funeral, and she ended up taking over my room for a few months, not entirely willingly. Pretty much, she's the most annoying person you've ever met. I mean, she's my sole living relative, but nevertheless, I still do love her, and but she has a habit of using not just me, but my former friend Hanga here and my other friends as essentially her waiters and her servants to go fetch her a sandwich.
That's
fetch
right.
her cigarettes.
That's right.
Well,
And
she
was fetching for you, because I feel entitled too. I feel like your mother. My kids got to serve me now.
Yeah, absolutely.
I call my son Amir. He doesn't even live in the household with me. He doesn't live too far around the corner.
Right.
But I call him all the time, tell him to order me some food, to have him deliver it to me. So order me some food from DoorDash, son. Dad, can't you? I said, you order it. And pay for it. Seriously, I do. Serving me now. So I'm with mama.
Yes.
Now, how does he owe you for loans?
Well, as I mentioned, he was staying with me in my apartment. Originally I was having some landlord issues, and he was as well. So I empathized with him, and I offered him, you can stay with me for free in my spare bedroom until the day I get evicted, quote unquote, which ended up being nearly 6 months. And as the time got closer, it was time for him to get an apartment for himself and find a place of his own. So he asked me to borrow money for the security deposit for a new apartment, which I had loaned him.
How much?
Originally, on April 16th, we signed a contract for $1,300.
Let me see that, please.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And
Next.
and subsequently, I had loaned him additional monies, totaling a total of $1941.32. After that,
Okay.
which I have here. Originally, when he
Let's see it.
when he failed to repay the original loan as per the original agreement on time, we had renegotiated and added up the additional amounts and signed that finalized contract as well. And since that was signed, when the day came for me to be evicted, he let me stay with him for one night and one night alone in the apartment that I helped him pay for, and then kicked me to the curb. And I leave it to you to guess how much of that nearly $2,000 did he pay me back.
Zero.
And I don't do the dishes. I'm sorry. And
You
know,
don't.
Well, I'm lazy.
Give him a hand. That's one of the few people that has admitted. You're one of the few people admitted to keep a nasty house.
Plaintiff Harry Weinstein met the defendant on a dating app, but he claims they were never more than friends because there was no romantic connection.
Let me hear from you, sir.
Yes, so with the living condition, I need to find my own apartment. So by the time I borrow him money for the deposit for my new apartment, which is $750, and we do handwriting.
Nope.
Yes.
Loan agreement, however you want to make it.
Yes, and since that, I already paid him $160 back. And there's no time limit of when it's gonna, I'm gonna pay it.
And how long has it been? This is since June of 2018. When is your last payment?
I believe December 2018.
6 months later?
Yes.
And you haven't made any payments since then?
Yes, no.
So you don't think that's enough time for you to have made additional payments?
Unfortunately, no.
Well, unfortunately for you, your belief is that you haven't had time, but 1 year is a reasonable amount of time in which you should have been able to make additional payments. Certainly 6 months is, but you've owed the money for 1 year. And even if an agreement does not spell out the date that the debt is due, the law defines that as a reasonable amount of time. And reasonable amount of time certainly is within 1 year. Secondly, sir, you want to raise your hand and interrupt me and not get your money? Go ahead.
I apologize, Your Honor.
Thank you. All right. And so therefore, most judges, about 90 days is the reasonable amount of time when there is no due date. So I'm going to conclude that you have had enough time and therefore grant your judgment. Have a good day. Judgment for the plaintiff. Good luck to you guys.
Well, I'm just glad that this is over. That's all.
He was a good friend, but I guess now that it's all done and over with, we'll part ways, and I wish you a nice life.
Plaintiff Danielle Dorsey says growing up, her mother was a drug addict, so she had no adult supervision in their home. Danielle claims she dated the defendant, and they have a daughter together, but she's suing him today for unpaid child support. Defendant Ron Green says he met Danielle online soon after he was released from prison, and he encouraged her to get her own place and taught her how to drive and cook. Ron insists he's a good father, and he gives Danielle money whenever she asks for it.
Start with you.
Well, Your Honor, to give you some background about myself, I grew up in South Florida in the early 90s.
What part?
West Palm Beach, Florida. My mother ran the streets, drug addict. My father drove trucks over the road, so I barely had any adult supervision or guidance. So being with that, I had no guidance as far as to making the right decisions and who I date and basically be around.
Who raised you who assisted in raising you?
My grandparents did, but my older cousins were the one who babysitted us, me and my brother. So in 2009, I ended up meeting my daughter's father.
Okay, how did that go?
In the beginning, for the first 3 months, it was great while we were dating. But as soon as I moved into my apartment, things kind of, like, I guess the real him, the real me came out. And for the most part, for the first 3 months, it was fine. But until I would say August of 2009, when I moved into my apartment, that's when we had our first fight. It wasn't serious enough for me to think to get out of the relationship. But 3 months later, I would say, I got pregnant with my daughter, Nevaeh, in 2009, October 2009.
How have things gone since then?
Since I had my daughter in 2010 to currently, he's been great. We haven't been in a relationship. So as a father, he's been okay spending time with his daughter, but financially, it has been a struggle.
Plaintiff Danielle Dorsey has a child with the defendant, who claims they met online soon after he was released from prison.
Let me hear from you, sir.
Well, I met Danielle in 2009, like she said, 2009. I met her online. I was fresh out the penitentiary. I did 10 years in the penitentiary. And, I was just playing around on my phone and met her. At first, it was good, like she said. And I encouraged her to get out on herself and get her own apartment. I taught her how to drive, taught her how to cook, and all these other things, But like she say, it took
How old was she when you met her?
She was 19.
It was 2009, so that's 10 years ago. And
Yeah,
how old are you now?
30.
All right, so go ahead. 20 years old. You say you helped
Yeah, I helped her get herself together.
adjust to
But
adulthood.
it didn't work out. And I told myself, I can be a good dad to my daughter without being there. So I left the relationship before my daughter was born. I'm a certified CNC machinist, so I've worked. And when she first
Tell me about your relationship with your daughter. You need to tell me some good things before you start giving me these lies about why you
I
can't
love
pay
my
your
rainbow.
child support. She said something to that effect. So you need to talk that up more than this defense why you're not giving her any money. I can hear that's where you're going immediately. I haven't been able to do that. Well, tell me what you did do. You need to start there. She says you were a decent father. Tell me about your relationship with your daughter.
I love my rainbow. I mean, she gets spoiled rotten.
Pardon?
My rainbow, that's her nickname.
Okay, and you've seen her often over the years? And
Yes, I get her every week, every weekend, or every other weekend.
Good. All right. And you have some influence on her as terms of a young lady, and
Yes,
You
sir.
try
I
and
speak to my
give
daughter.
her best advice you can as a man. I'll be honest, that's one of my shortcomings or failures. I didn't know how to advise my daughters very well. Never had sisters and never had a dad, so I didn't know what. I had all brothers and no dad, just mama. I didn't know what to tell my daughters other than show them an example. Both of them are lawyers, so obviously I had to provide a good example.
Right.
But yeah, I didn't know what to say. And the mother did such a great job, but I knew to tell my boys, and they do well also. But quite frankly, and some other men might want to know, how do you help develop your daughters? What type of things do you talk about? My daughters didn't want to talk about no boys, that was for sure. So when my boys, we talk about girls. So just curious, what type of things do you and your daughter talk about?
I talk to her about real life stuff. I talk to her about being good at school and getting the education.
Did
so
that.
she won't have to go through the things that I went through
Did
or
that.
her mother went through. You know, I just try to be honest with her. I don't believe in whooping her, so I talk to her.
Good.
Like that.
All right, so I've done that, counsel with them and on their careers and on their education, even when they were coming up and suggesting punishment if they didn't do their best. So I say suggesting because I ain't had no clout. Linda had all the clout. All right, so it's good to hear that. So you want to tell me now about how he owes child support?
He, the evidence that I have, Your Honor, because I have my
Let's
child
see it,
support
please. Go
evidence.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lee.
So over the years, it's been a struggle?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Over the years, he worked, like he said, he done CNN machinist. And
That's good money, sir, so I don't want to hear this poor mouth. Go ahead.
When he doesn't work, I don't receive any child support. So that's how he became in the real.
When he worked, however, every time you knew of him working, he did pay his child support.
Yes, sir,
All
he
right,
did.
good, good. He's a good man so far. She's even saying that you only failed to pay when you weren't working.
Right.
That's understandable. I assume you were getting unemployment, however, but the baby should be the last one to suffer. You kept eating.
Correct.
Well,
Correct.
I don't get unemployment because I quit my job to...
Why? Now you're making yourself look bad.
No,
Well, maybe you had a reason. Let me stop.
Because I want to run my own business, and I co-own a studio with my brother Heavyweight Hustletainment, and we trying to lift that off the ground. Now I still get money when she calls me and tells me she needs something for my daughter. She still get it.
How many hours a week do you work with your
I
business?
work 24 hours on this. I'm serious about this. I want to be a boss. I'm tired of taking orders.
I'm sure you're exaggerating about 24 hours because it's humanly impossible not to get any sleep ever. So I know that you're exaggerating.
Plaintiff Daniel Dorsey has a child with the defendant who claims they met online soon after he was released from prison.
The point I want to make, and that's why I was asking how many hours, is that you should never sacrifice the feeding of your children for some ambition of yours. In other words, you had a job. You should have kept that job and did everything you needed to do outside of that job, meaning keep your job. I know a lot of people want to expand their career, go into another business on their own, but they shouldn't quit their job until you have another income. That doesn't make sense. Work at nights. Work on your business at night. Work on your business at lunchtime. Wake up at 6 a.m. and go to the business. Then go to your job at 9 a.m. Then get off the job at 6 p.m. and then go work on your business until 3 a.m. You at least get you 3 or 4 hours. You don't quit your job, sir, and not pay your child support.
Can I say
you
something,
give them
sir?
something every now and then. I'm gonna stop you because you look and sounded so good. And I'm not gonna let you make yourself look any worse. Judgment for the plaintiff. If you owe the child support, you said it's because you're unable to pay when you're not working. She agrees that you pay all your child support whenever you are working. You told me some nonsense about quitting your job. I'm disappointed in you for doing that. It's not for me to be disappointed. I'm disappointed that you would allow your daughter to suffer because of your ambition. That's all, sir.
Thank you.
Give
Your
that some
Honor,
second
so
thought. Good luck to you. Judgment for the plaintiff. Have a good day.
No, I just hope he takes the judge's advice and goes ahead and get some type of support to support his child and also chase his passion and continue his dream.
Well, I just want to say, even though I'm not working and she not getting child support like that, my daughter is still very well taken care of. My daughter and the 2 girls she got that's not mine, I still get money and they still get what they need.
Plaintiff Kendra Ginn has run a daycare for 8 years, and she agreed to watch the defendant's children after hearing that he and his wife had been through drug court for a meth addiction. Kendra claims she watched the children for 45 hours in 1 week, but the defendant failed to pay, so she's suing. Defendant Brian Judd says he fell on hard times after his wife left him with their children, including one who was only 7 days old. Brian admits his children went to Kendra's daycare for 1 week, but insists it was only for 39 hours, and he's countersuing her for harassment.
Start with you.
Your Honor, I feel with the meth epidemic out there in the world that grandparents should have rights to protect children. I have been in daycare for 8 years, and many kids have come in and out of my home. So I feel that we should have rights. Rumor has it that Brian and his wife have been through drug court due to a meth addiction, so I took on his children to help protect them.
Okay.
So I feel that grandparents should have rights to protect these children. And I lost my grandson over 5 years due to his mom taking him from our home, and he was placed in foster care. So I feel grandparents should have rights to protect these children.
That's unfortunate in many instances, I suppose. But then in the other instances, grandma just wants to see the baby more often. So she just says, I want to come see the baby. And when the daughter says, no, we're going to the park today, I want to see him, bring him here. No, then there's an argument and you have nothing to say. And the best way you can avoid having a conflict is to get along with that child. If you want the grandchild accessible to you at any time, then you need to be nice to your child. All right, so in your instance, how did it work out with the kids?
I enjoyed having the kids in my home. Brian and his wife came into my home asking for childcare, and I agreed to watch their children. I watched their 3 children for 45 hours for that week. At
How much per hour?
$275 an hour per child. And then also in my contract, which they never signed in return.
$275 per hour?
$2.75 hour.
Okay, $2.
Yeah, $2.75 an hour.
Got it. All right.
Per child. And I had them for 45 hours. And then also on the contract, which they never signed or returned, in my contract also says $5 a day late fees until paid.
All right.
Defendant Brian Judd is being sued by his former daycare provider, who claims Brian went through drug court for a meth addiction.
Sir, what do you want to tell me about this case?
Well, in 2017, my family fell.
You're 17. No,
2007.
you're not. Huh?
I said in 2017.
Oh, in
Your Honor.
2017.
My family
okay,
fell
that's
into
what I
some-
say. You've been smoking a lot of crystal meth.
And I don't know where she got that, but
Okay.
that statement was not true either.
All right.
So, in 2017, my family fell into some hard times. I was a single father of 3 children, one which was 7 days old, the other one which is a 1-year-old that has special needs, hearing issues.
A single father?
A single father, yes, Your Honor.
What happened to your child?
The mother stepped out of their lives, so I
Okay.
took on my 3 children.
Good.
I
At
lost
that age? How
Oh.
early? Was
7 days old.
7 days.
7 days, 1 week.
Was it drugs?
No drugs, no alcohol. So I took on my 3 children, as a father should. My home was sold out from underneath of me, so I had to swallow my pride and find a place within a very quick moment. Found a homeless shelter. Within 30 days, I was out of the homeless shelter, reconnected with my wife. At the time was not my wife, but moved to Hastings, Nebraska. In order for me and my wife to work a full-time job, we had to find daycare. I missed several days of work because I couldn't find daycare. I Googled and found Kendra. Right off the bat, I was asked for money up front without ever watching my children, which I found a little surprising. But we were also trying to get state help at the time. So it takes a process to do that. And if the state help was to step in, they would have paid for it, not me.
The agreement
However,
was $2.75 an hour per child.
$2.75
She's
per.
asking for 45 hours. She says she's
I have
due.
39 hours that week.
39.
Correct.
So there's a difference of 6 hours. That's what we're debating about. 6 hours at $2.75.
$16.50.
All right. So we are
$16.50.
we're debating over $16.50 per child. And so what have you told her about paying the balance?
Well, I agreed to pay the balance until she continued to harass me and text me and call me and my wife constantly. Like it was nonstop.
Tell me, describe how nonstop.
Like 3-4 times a day,
How many days?
probably for about a week straight. And
She
then
never got you on the phone?
she never got me on the phone. I was at work,
Okay.
and she would, why aren't you answering me? Because I'm working a full-time job.
Okay. Why didn't you call her back after the first one?
Because of the text message I received,
What did it
pretty
say?
much calling me, downgrading me, saying I was pretty much worthless.
That was the first text message
No,
you
that
got
was the
regarding?
second one I got.
That's what I'm saying. What did she say, and what was your response to the first one?
Her response to me was, why don't you get a hold of me? I said, I have to go to Kearney to pick up my older children. When I get back into town, I will get a hold of you.
Did you?
I did not,
Why?
because she had sent me a second text message.
Because you obviously didn't respond to the first.
I didn't have my phone on me.
Okay.
Honest.
You know, you've given me 3 excuses.
No, they're honest.
But I'm saying there are 3 different things. So 3 things kept you from responding.
Right.
Work, remember that. I told you I gotta work all the time. 2, when I get back in town.
No phone.
Okay.
That was 3.
Then the third one, no phone. All right, go ahead, ma'am. Tell me about the late fees. You have an agreement that he signed to pay $5
He didn't
a
return
day?
the agreement.
Okay, well.
And
you
I'm
know-
state licensed, and on that state license, the state says $5 a day per late fee.
Let's see it. A day? Let's see it. Let's circle the part where it says the state.
It doesn't say the state. That's
Well,
just
then, why you hand me that? I said, show me where
on the
the
part
state.
down below. It says $5 for late
Yeah,
fee.
but you said the state requires. I said, show me something that says the state requires. You handed me this to indicate that the state requires. It has no such thing on it. I asked you, was this what the state
Correct.
required? You said, no, I don't have that.
Correct.
But a minute ago, you told me you did. So now your credibility is hurt. I'm not going to grant you any late fees.
Okay.
You don't have an agreement, and you misled me and told me that the state requires it and that you had a document to show me, and you don't. You misled me, or you were being dishonest, or you were confused. But I don't think you were confused about what this document says because you've highlighted part of it. Have a good day. Judgment for the plaintiff for the amount of $371. I'm gonna go with her on the amount due. I don't believe that you didn't call her because of those 3 excuses. I believe you were dodging paying her. And since you weren't returning her call, I do believe she had a right to call you a couple of times a day until you at least return the call. If you return her call and say, I'll pay you Friday. If you return a call on Monday, I'll pay you Friday. If she starts calling you 3 times a day, then she's harassing you because you've told her when you'll pay her, but yet she just keeps calling 3 or 4 times. That's harassment. You won't even return her call. Have a good day. Judgment for the plaintiff. Your claim is dismissed. $371.
I don't know where you got the meth thing from, but you might want to get your facts straight.
I have nothing to say.